Although his performing career ended decades ago, Jad Paul, now in his 90s, is a true living legend of the banjo. Born in Los Angeles, California, Jad Paul began playing the banjo as a young man in the early 1930s, just as the guitar was beginning to overshadow the banjo in popularity. Regardless of this trend, Jad continued his banjo studies and was well prepared for the post-World War II nostalgia boom which brought the banjo back into public favor. Along with other California-based banjoists such as Don Van Palta and Freddie Morgan, Jad Paul carried the torch lit by the banjo superstars of the 1920s and was in no small part responsible for the general public's renewed interest in the banjo throughout the 1950s and 60s. In the early 1950s, the consummate musicianship and handsome good looks of Jad Paul were recognized by comic band leader Spike Jones, who was putting together a new band for his upcoming weekly live national television shows. Along with his old friend Freddie Morgan, Jad Paul joined Spike Jones and the City Slickers in 1954. During the 4 years that followed, Jad appeared with Spike Jones and the City Slickers as both musician and actor, performing on weekly live television broadcasts as well as in nightclub and concert appearances across the United States. Although often overshadowed by the comical antics of Freddie Morgan, Jad Paul infused their duo with a sense of style and musical sophistication which resulted in pure banjo magic. And occasionally, Jad got in the comic mayhem as well. Teaming up with his Spike Jones banjo partner Freddie Morgan and vocalist Margie Rayburn, Jad Paul formed a vocal group called the Sunnysiders in 1955. That trio promptly produced a nationwide hit record of the Freddie Morgan original called Hey Mr. Banjo.
Mr. Banjo, play us just one more. Play Mr. Banjo just like you did before. When stars are high and the moon is low, keep on strumming on your old banjo. Hey, Mr. Banjo, play a tune for me. Mr. Banjo, play a tune for me.
There's a lonesome banjo in the pawn shop window and I pass it every day.
With the national success of Hey Mr. Banjo, the Sunnysiders were quickly signed to a contract with Decca Records. However, as their biggest hit had already been recorded by another label, Jad Paul, Freddie Morgan, and the group's producer Norman Malkin put on their songwriting caps and got busy writing a new batch of songs for the Sunnysiders' first and only LP for Decca. Out of those efforts, which included the Happy Banjo Polka and the Lonesome Banjo, Jad Paul wrote one particularly memorable tune, which in addition to being chosen as the title for the LP, has gone on to become a banjo player's anthem, the Banjo Picker's Ball.
I'm gonna pick you up in my old Model T. Put on your new glad rags and be waiting for me. Be ready at 8, we mustn't be late. We're going to a ball, I mean that Banjo Picker's Ball. There'll be
After Spike Jones left the national television airwaves in 1958, Jad again teamed with Freddie Morgan in a new group called the Banjo Maniacs, and also became a fixture on Los Angeles television, appearing regularly on the Club Oasis musical variety program, as well as the extremely popular Dick Sinclair's Polka Parade. In 1959, based on the public recognition generated by his television appearances with Spike Jones as well as the Sunnysiders, Jad Paul was signed to a record contract of his own with Liberty Records. Adapting to the banjo the multi-track recording techniques which gave the records of Les Paul and Mary Ford their unique sound, Jad Paul produced 3 LP records which are still considered to be among the finest banjo recordings ever made. Jad Paul retired from the banjo business in the 1970s and currently lives in Van Nuys, California. Although he appeared on national television and sold millions of records, this extremely modest man seems genuinely surprised at and extremely grateful for the legacy which was created through the unique banjo magic of Jad Paul.